idea of gaming sort of becoming ingrained in everyday online experiences really just means that, as you move toward more of a storytelling, sort of more of a narrative structure with more elements of the real world kind of creeping into the online experience, all of a sudden you have the potential for much richer experience back and forth between a customer and a company, or a person and another person. And much the way that we follow our friends' experiences in real life and even online now you get even a little bit more detail to go along with that. So that creates a much richer experience. And what happens, I think, is that people will want a little bit of fun, a little bit of extra sort of context to the experiences that they have online. So it's not just a process of buying shoes, but it's a process of buying shoes that my friend Rachel happens to like, that she wore to a particular place that I thought looked really fantastic on her. When you add location to the online experience, basically it creates the elements of a story. So you've got who, what, when, and now you've got where. What you don't have is how, right? That's the sort of motivation for what people do. But all of a sudden you're much closer to a real life experience. So for example, if you see that I went to Macy's and I checked in and I said, oh, I'm buying a dress for a wedding, you might sort of be curious, and then you can kind of follow my journey. And if you're my friend, you might actually care about that, as opposed to the fact that somebody gave me a pig in Farmville or something like that. When you move location to Facebook, all of a sudden you've got 500 million people who could potentially be saying where they are and what they're doing. So that's an enormous transition to the mass market. And so Facebook is the place where this is going to play out. And we're going to start to see what happens when you add this sense of where somebody is at a moment in time and what they're doing to the whole online mix. Marketing and advertising have traditionally been a push medium. I'm walking down the street, there's a billboard, there's something that comes in my email, it's all coming at me. I'm not really a participant in that. But when I choose to go to a restaurant or I choose to go to a department store and say that I'm there, all of a sudden I've given some permission, or at least some information that that retailer can know. So let's say I go to the grocery store and I buy olive oil, and then maybe 4 or 5 weeks later that grocery store might be saying, well, Susan, you're close to being out of olive oil, you might need it again. And by the way, since you're buying olive oil and you're buying cheese, here's a recipe that you might be interested in making. And it's only 30 minutes because, by the way, when you registered, you told me that you had kids. So that kind of thing, I think, is going to become a lot more prevalent, where there is this sort of dynamic between the company and the individual decides, how much am I going to give up in terms of information for the value and the relevance of the services that come back to me.